The governor began his State of the State speech by thanking his family, the retiring Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court, and God. Then touted how he says New Hampshire has changed in the past year.
Today in New Hampshire, businesses have lower taxes, they have fewer regulations, we have a stronger workforce, and we're allowing those businesses to reinvest in their communities.
The school shooting in Florida was also on the governor's mind as he talked about the need for Granite Staters to know their children are safe in school.
I advocated for a new public school infrastructure fund, which is now investing nearly $20 million in state funds directly to communities and making long overdue infrastructure upgrades and security upgrades.
As a result of that program, the governor says close to 300 schools are receiving security funding grants. On the matter of victims' rights, the governor repeated a call for the legislature to pass the constitutional amendment known as Marsy's Law.
Victims of crime deserve equal constitutional rights, the same rights as defendants, no more, no less. That's why Marsy's Law is so important.
The governor pointing to his call for developing a comprehensive 10-year plan and some new resources that are available, such as funding for 60 new beds. And the governor said that despite recent strides, the opioid crisis remains the state's biggest challenge. And he says the time has come to mobilize employers in the fight through something called recovery-friendly workplaces.
This initiative will help businesses gain greater safety, productivity, and profitability by addressing addiction head-on in the workplace.
Unlike the budget address a year ago, there weren't a lot of specific numbers attached to legislation initiatives, and that's often the biggest hurdle when it comes to getting that funding. That being said, Political Director Adam Sexton has been out gauging reaction to the speech. And Adam, what have you found?
Well, Ray, a little bit of a scramble there in the scrum after the speech, getting a reaction from both Democrats and Republicans. Republicans very much focused on sort of highlighting the enthusiasm of their youthful governor, the youngest governor in the United States at age 43. That was a word they used repeatedly, his enthusiasm and energy that he brings to the job. Of course, this being an election year, 2018, a lot of the politics sort of overlay this as they try to play up their governor, the Republican governor, first in a number of years. So we saw a lot of positive reaction from Republicans, but Democrats, on the other hand, had a lot they wanted to pick apart with this speech. In particular, they felt that there was not enough emphasis on the issue of Medicaid expansion, one of the biggest policies and most expensive policies facing the state. The governor dedicated a couple of sentences to it, essentially saying we're going to get something done, but there's a lot of disagreement on that. And the other issue was the opioid crisis. Here's some reaction here from Senator Donna Soucy and then Senate Majority Leader Jeb Bradley.
Certainly being from Manchester, the opioid crisis is something I was expecting to hear a lot more specifics from today, and I thought the governor's statements were a little short in that regard. We have done a lot of work, but there's a lot more that we need to do.
The things that we've done to encourage business growth, kindergarten, property tax relief through road and bridge money, I mean, these are all things that are not partisan. They're well respected, and I think you see the enthusiastic report that he gets in here and across the state. So, you know, New Hampshire's in a good place. It's a great place to be.
Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the report that this is about one of the busiest days you're going to see at the State House. We had the State of the State address. Currently, the Senate and the House are both in session. Between the two of them, well over 100 bills to deal with today. They're going to be in session long into the evening. On top of that, there is a hearing before the Executive Council for a new Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. We'll have a full breakdown of everything that goes on here today, plus revisiting some of the highlights of the State of the State coming up today at 5 and 6. For Ray Brewer, live at the State House, I'm Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.